black women were stranded in Colorado after they were kicked off an Amtrak train over the actions of their service dog. So, look, this is a detailed story, and it's pretty messed up. So, let's go through some of the posts here, flagged by Dave New World underscore two, also known as 50 Shades of Way on Twitter. So, he brought attention to it on social media, and here's some of the thread that he posted. He said 2 black women were kicked off an Amtrak because of their emotional support animal had defecated on the train. Okay, so now obviously that sucks. But the women then did what they were supposed to do. They cleaned it up. They cleaned up after their animal. Because again, what are they supposed to do on a train? You can't just stop the train to let the dog out to poop. But what happened, again, afterwards, even though they cleaned it up, and they weren't making a mess, they weren't making a fuss, they weren't doing anything else, well, Amtrak decided to stop the train anyway, after the poo, and then called the cops to then throw the women off the train. As a result, they were, again, these women were trying to go to Chicago for Christmas, and were actually ended up stranded in Grand Junction, Colorado, in the cold. So, Merry Christmas, apparently. I mean, look, why anyone would call the police, why Amtrak would call the police, defies reason. It's not a crime scene, it's poop. Seriously. And it's poo that they had picked up and cleaned up. Meaning, of course, they would have probably brought, the doggy poo bags, right? The doggy waste bags. Yeah. In order to clean up, because you would expect that to happen on a very long train ride. What's the problem? What's the problem? Now, there's video of this incident, and it was caught on TikTok, recorded on TikTok, by a person who, by the way, decided to try to intervene on behalf of these women. And that TikTok account is owned by someone named Bell Skunk. That's the name on TikTok. So let's get to showing that video.
I was a witness to this. Okay. They are mistreating them and the dog. Okay. If they're going to have a policy of letting the dog on a train, the dog, they cleaned up their poop.
Give me 1 second, okay?
No, this is not right. You're going to just ditch these people in Green River because their little doggy had to take a poo-poo? It's ridiculous. Don't let this ruin your holidays, sweeties. This guy should be ashamed of himself. He should be speaking up, but
I could never just do what he just did. I could never, ever take the wrong decisions of some Amtrak employees and make it against the law, because they didn't do anything against the law. If the Amtrak is going to allow a dog on the train,
then what's the other side of the story?
That's it.
That's it.
Did you see those ladies upset?
No.
Did you see how they conducted themselves?
They were very
And they got kicked off a train and stranded in Grand Junction on their way to Chicago for Christmas because of a little dog poop. That guy, that conductor's probably never owned a dog in his life. He hasn't been trained on the policies here. That was against the law. Service animals are allowed on public transportation. And what do you expect a dog to do? Oh, look how harmful that dog is. Gonna just terrorize the train. So basically, this one guy that had an upset issue over some dog poop just stalled all of us from being on time.
All right, so now look, you can go and watch the whole thing. I'll put the link in the description, as well as a thread from 50 Shades of Way. You should definitely watch it, because that is infuriating. But again, all credit to, again, Bell Skunk. And he jumped to these ladies' defense. He filmed the whole thing. He challenged the cops on this, because it seems like a ridiculous thing to throw someone off, or a couple of people off a train for. And it's the right thing to do, to defend them. So all credit to him. Again, they cleaned up the dog poop. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Now, the story actually gets worse. It gets worse. This video gets put out. And people responded to it on social media, and they were not happy with Amtrak. And they're like, hey, Amtrak, what are you doing? Like, you're kicking these ladies off for their service dog. Now, the people who get service dogs, by the way, are disabled in some way. Now, whether or not it be an emotional service dog or a service dog, that performs other functions, like helping them see, for example, they should be allowed, or they are allowed by the rules. So what are you doing? Kicking these women off for something that the dog had to do that they ended up cleaning up. It again didn't make any sense. So now the people were mad, and they started calling out Amtrak on social media. And then what does Amtrak do? Do they put out a statement? Do they, say, okay, we're investigating this? What's going on here? No, they started hiding comments. So they started hiding negative comments about the story. Because of course they did. And, look, that never works. In fact, what they do is they amplify it more in what's basically referred to as the Streisand effect. And so what is the Streisand effect? Basically, if people are aware that you're hiding information from them or hiding their posts or hiding something, then they're going to be much more motivated in getting to those videos or those tweets or etc. and spreading the information and the outrage about it. So now Dave also, by the way, decided to amplify some negative information about Amtrak executives since they decided to go and hide posts. In the same thread, he tweeted this: maybe I should start talking about how the 10 highest paid Amtrak executives got six-figure bonuses in 2021, despite the company's declining revenues. Our federal and state taxes are not meant to subsidize the mistreatment and abandonment of elderly women in the freezing cold. He also posted, meet Stephen Gardner, who was the second highest paid Amtrak executive in 2021. He received a bonus that was nearly 40% of his salary. Wow. Strange how you would receive such a big bonus when your company's not doing well, when they're losing revenue. That's very, very strange how that works out. Very strange indeed. Then he asks, does he know that 2 elderly black women were stranded in the freezing cold on Christmas? He then summarizes by saying, I want Amtrak to know that an incident that touches on race, cops, the elderly, the holidays, the cold, animal welfare, and a quasi-public corporation is a perfect storm for a PR nightmare. But completely ignoring this and just hiding people's replies makes everything 10 times worse. Again, that's the aforementioned strike. And upon closer inspection, he continued, of Amtrak's operation over the years, I can now report that Amtrak is exploiting state and federal taxes while doing unconscionable damage to their labor force by furloughing their own workers in order to hire lower paid contractors with fewer benefits. Again, this is not a surprise. I wish, we had a government that would do. Oh, right. We don't, because government tends to favor even semi-public corporate. So look, that said, whoever those ladies are, they are owed a massive apology. I mean, why involve the police at all in this over a service dog? Don't they have like actual crimes to go and investigate and to stop? I mean, again, this is a huge overreaction. Those ladies, watch the entire thing. They weren't violent or combative towards the police or anyone else. They weren't unruly. They weren't just letting the dog poop everywhere and not cleaning it up. No, they cleaned it up. They didn't leave anything for anyone else to deal with. So why? Why were they kicked off? You can speculate that maybe because they were black. I mean, I guess why else would they violate their own service animal rules? And just leave these women. I don't know. I can't say what's in their heart. I can't say that it's 100% racism. But in situations like this, kind of makes you think, what if that's part of it? I don't know. But what I do know is Amtrak has a lot to answer for in this case. because it is a PR nightmare. And go to the police for answering what is a ridiculous call.